Hey y'all, it's Trish with Arch Legacy Firm. Thanks for joining us for Whiskey and Wills. Cheers. So today I wanted to talk about why it's so important to work with an actual attorney that specializes in estate planning versus doing it online, working with, heaven forbid, a notary. I've seen those. I've seen notary services, or even a financial advisor. So my first question to you is, do you really know anything about estate planning? Because honestly, most of my clients don't. I get calls all the time calling and saying, hey, I need a simple will. And then after our initial planning session, when I've given out all the options and walked them through the different parts of estate planning and why they're important and why something might do this and another thing might do this, they're like, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. I've never thought about that, or I've never even heard of that, or I didn't even think to include that in the thought of a plan. So do you really know anything about estate planning? And don't worry, it's not a bad thing if you say no. Guess what? I consider myself a pretty intelligent person, but I cannot give someone financial advice, and I cannot perform heart surgery on anybody else. We all are trained to do the things that we're trained to do, and we all have our specialties. So most people really don't have much of an understanding of what estate planning is, why it's important, what a will does, exactly what all these documents are. And that's why it's important to work with an estate planning attorney to actually walk you through the process. And by estate planning attorney, I don't mean your real estate attorney that might be your neighbor's best friend, or the criminal lawyer down the street that lives next door. No, I don't mean anything like that. I mean an attorney that specializes in estate planning and deals with living trusts and irrevocable trusts and wills and blended families and complex situations. And maybe there's someone that you need to disinherit from your estate, or maybe there's someone closely related to you that really shouldn't ever have access to your kids if anything was to happen to you. These are the little nuances of an estate plan that really only a specialized estate planning attorney is going to know how to address. If someone has special needs, there might need to be some special needs planning or anything like that. So why can't you go online and get services like this? Well, let's think about it for a second. So I am licensed in the state of Georgia to be an attorney in Georgia. As of right now, it is the only state that I am licensed in. So I can only perform legal services in the state of Georgia. So how do things like LegalZoom and all of those, Rocket Lawyer and all those groups exist? Because obviously they're not licensed in every state, and it's not an attorney that's licensed in every state. So they exist because they're not giving legal advice. They are providing documents for you to figure out how to fill out and how to actually implement and how to get to work and what's best for your family and what may be better in this option, but you have to figure it out, and you have no one advising you along the way because they are not legally allowed to give you legal advice. They can only provide the documents. And honestly, that's not a whole lot different than what a lot of attorneys that don't specialize in estate planning will do as well. They'll give you the documents, they'll fill in the blanks for you, but in reality, they're not going to actually help you implement your plan or make sure that it's actually going to work. What about financial advisors? Now, I do hear sometimes that there are financial advisors that will actually create estate plans for their clients. Now, this is a tricky one. I absolutely love financial advisors. I think they're so important. I don't know anything really about complex investing or setting up all these different IRAs and Roths and what might be better for this stage and this stage, and figuring out a life plan. And if you do have anyone special needs, they can help you with that plan as well. And it's very specialized. I don't know much about that, so I want to go to a professional in order to get those services and help for that. So they are so important for people that need a little bit more guidance with investing and saving and planning and all these different nuances for that. But they are not attorneys most of the time, and they're definitely not attorneys that specialize in estate planning. And in reality, they honestly are not legally allowed to provide an estate plan. So it'd basically be the same as LegalZoom. They can maybe give you the documents and help you get them notarized, but they can't give any type of legal advice. And if they do, they are breaking the law and actually risking losing their own license as a financial advisor. So it's very important to realize that there's a specialty for different reasons, and it's so that we don't have to know it all, that we can rely on experts to help guide us through the different aspects of our life, because y'all, time is money. So in the amount of time that it takes you to figure out the nuances of an estate plan and do all the research yourself and figure it all out yourself, I could probably tell you in a 1-hour meeting, and then you would be able to make an educated decision on what makes the most sense for your family and your goals with estate planning. So it's so important with anything like this that we really choose to work with professionals that know what they're doing and that we trust to guide us through the process and protect their family at the end of the day. So I hope that that makes sense, and that when you're choosing to protect your family, which in my opinion is by far the most important thing in your entire life, should be protecting your family, that you choose to work with an expert that actually can ensure that your family is safe and protected from court and conflict, and that your kids are going to end up with exactly who you want them to end up with, and that if you're incapacitated, you're going to be taken care of by the people you want to be taken care of. So I hope this makes sense, and I hope this helps explain the difference between LegalZoom or another type of professional versus an estate planning attorney. Cheers, y'all. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, and hopefully the next time I talk to you, I'll be cheersing you from the beach. Have a great day.